The city's alive. Clock strikes 12. We're ready to dive down the street where the neon hums. Our little escape. The workday succumbs. Tables wait. The bar's got that swing. Glasses clink. Hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch. Pour it smooth. Let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass. Let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch. We're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salute and welcome. We are halfway through it, and I'm kind of scratching my head going, where did the week go? It went so fast. Literally, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, right? Yeah. I have so much that I still have to do. I've got a marathon of movies to get ready for tomorrow. I've got a lot of food to get chopped up and prepared. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, let's get to saying hi to all of you. Starting with
I'm not
big.
quite sure how to help you with that.
You can't shut up. What was it? Lou Wasserman's ghost over on WDW Pro referred to her as that Miss A bitch that sits on my desk. For crying out loud. Anyway. WTF will Troy have for us today? Liquid Lunchers. Have fun, show Troy. Have a fun show, Troy, and enjoy, everyone. Yes, I guess my first WTF is her. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, this is Enigma Severus. Welcome, my friend. He says, I showed up because Troy said he was digitally supplying the booze. Yay for me. Well, yes, that's true. Operative word being digital. Your baud rate may vary. I cannot guarantee alcohol content of the final download. Welcome, Netter of Netters Network. She is, of course, the love of my life, who says that I am the love of hers, which I think makes us perfectly paired. She says, like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, and gift a membership if you are feeling particularly generous. Because you can be a member for as little as $2 a month. That, among many other benefits, such as supporting a fine channel like this one, entitles you to exclusive membership streams, like the ones every Monday that are members-only movie nights. Movies that you all can choose. And speaking of which, members, I've got a poll up right now. So make sure you vote for what movie we will be watching on Monday. You can do that right now. Gifted memberships are also welcome because we are trying to reach a goal of 100 members by the end of the year. That's totally doable. We're actually very close. And we're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That one should be just as easy, but I'm having a real hard time seeing the subscriptions come in. So please make sure you're sharing out the streams, sharing out my channel, and telling your friends and family, subscribe to this channel. Just click here. Just click on this link, and then click on the subscribe at the bottom of the video. That's all you got to do, please. Please spread the love, right? Share this Thanksgiving season, please. Howdy to the tired midnight blogger himself, Curtis Selby. Good to see you, my friend. And hail to Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube and one of the finest blue wrenches. I'm sure that this was not a misspelled acronym. I'm sure you meant to say hapla. Did you see the thing on Campbell's Soup for WTF Wednesday? I saw it, but I haven't really had a chance to look into it. So I may save that for a future one. Might be very interesting to take a look at. I actually heard David Freiheit, Viva Fry, was talking about this as well. Yeah, and then the Tennessee congressional candidate on the record as hating Nashville. Well, I would like to hear what the context on that is right now. See, Tennessee is a place that Netter and I are eyeing to move to, but not real, as you probably know from yesterday's stream and from previous streams I've mentioned it, not real fired up about Jack Daniels. They're an anti-American globalist sellout company. And so, yeah, a couple strikes against Tennessee. I hope they straighten up and fly right by the time we decide where we're actually moving to. Let's see. Jonathon Conroy says, hail all, smash the like button, and enjoy the show. Yes, I hope you all do all of those things. Absolutely, especially enjoy the show. Shall there be a wild turkey liquid lunch tomorrow? I like how you think. I'll consider that. I will consider that. Almost forgot about this. Been tied up with setting up a school provided laptop. Windows 11 sucks donkey, you know what. Linux being built up little by little. Yes, and today I did remember to tag everybody in the all the members in the description. So that might be why you knew to come on by. That was my little reminder to all of you. WTF, I thought for a second he was telling Netter to shut up when I realized it was Alexa. Yeah, it was Alexa. And then I just said her name and she doesn't even respond. I don't get it. She talks when nobody's talking to her. When you're trying to get her attention, she doesn't. I don't know. Digital booze, digital dancing. From Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. There you go. My drunk station starts in 5 hours. There you go. That's the way it goes. Yeah, long weekend for some of y'all. I don't think YouTube shows us small creators to anyone anymore. Interesting you mentioned that. I have been... I don't want to say too much about it until we have a confirmation and a date, locked in. But a bigger YouTuber asked me to be on his channel to be on a panel talking about some of those kinds of exact things. I even have a suggestion out to him that we make it that he do the stream in the last call slot. And then I would tell you guys, the regularly scheduled last call will not be presented this evening, so you can join me over on so-and-so's channel, kind of a thing. Yeah, my old company sold Jack Daniels. I guess they lost the account. Corporate shills got to stick together. Well, good, because I don't know much about your old company, but I'd like to think that they would prefer not to support a company like that. I really do. It's not just her. It's all of AI, and let's face it, AI is just the mouthpiece for corporate America. So, welcome, Outlaw Bill. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. Sounds like that bitch is dipping into the digital liquor again. Yeah, well, kinda. That if you don't get your digital download for Liquid Lunch, it's her fault. I'm sure. And Outlaw Bill is celebrating 6 months of membership. Thank you so much for the support, Outlaw Bill. Super appreciate you. Hope to see you, in and out of the chat. During tomorrow's marathon of Thanksgiving fare that Netter and I will be doing on our channels. So thank you again, guys, for being here. I will be happy to join on another channel as long as there is some recognition of the chat. This is why I love you guys. Lots of family vibes, which Netter amazingly shares. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I agree with you 100%. Full stop. But I am going to run a little bit of cover for some of the big boys. Because having been on some of those channels and seen the chat, you can't keep up with it. You can't do a show where you've got bullet points to talk about and focus 100% on the chat and get to every comment. I'll be honest with you. I'm not calling him out. I love him. I am a huge supporter. That's why I'm a member of his channel. Culture Casino. Every now and again, like I'll drop, when I'm on his channel, I'll drop one of these, like Outlaw Bill did, member for however long. And sometimes he doesn't read them. He misses them. I know why he misses them, because, and there's no way you can see this, the way that looks in your chat on YouTube looks very different from the way it does here. It doesn't come up with a nice bright green or something like that, that shows it as a premium type of thing. If I wasn't paying really close attention, I'd totally miss it. And on some of the big channels, they just can't. They just don't have the time. So what you got to do is, drop a little super chat, get their attention. Hell, when I'm on panel on Doomcock, like I will be tonight, by the way, I will drop a super chat just to make a comment that I didn't get to make when I was on camera. Yeah, I know how it is. But you're right. The community is so important, and some of the channels just feel like sellout shills, they're just so separated from people, and I don't want that. That's not why I want to put the social in this social media, otherwise, this might as well be a cable access show, yeah, even at our level, it gets hard to keep up with the chat sometimes. It really, really does. And you'll probably notice it. That's why I have a special time in these liquid lunches set aside specifically to talk to you guys. We're 18 minutes in and I'm still in the greeting portion. I haven't even gotten to what I want to talk about yet. And then I'll follow up with what you guys had to say about what I talk about. Then I'll go to another point, and then we'll look at what you have to say. But I'm gonna miss stuff. I'm gonna miss stuff. I can't catch them all. Since we give off family vibes, can I borrow 160 to fix my car? So my brother got evicted again. He can't drink in moderation. Yeah, I get that. I totally understand, which is fine. I really do get it. I don't even know who you are discussing, but I do consider you guys to be... Oh, I didn't have anyone specific in mind. I was just talking generally. There are... Okay, so now I just thought of one specifically. But again, the distance comes because, you know, they're a victim of their own success. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's a bit of a burden. It's a burden I wouldn't mind having. I wouldn't mind trying to figure out how to manage it myself. I try to read a section of an article, then come back to the chat. I think I usually get everyone, but yeah. No. I get easily distracted. You've seen that many, many times. And of course, Geek Flag says like, share, subscribe, become a member, and maybe if you were planning on giving a $5 super chat, make that a gifted membership instead. Believe me, that will get my attention too, as long as we are... Whoops. Well, I guess we just went to what I was talking about today because I clicked on the wrong button. But that's okay because I needed to make a pivot anyway. So, WTF Warner Brothers. WTF today, for crying out loud. I'm kind of getting sick and tired of talking about this, but I feel like I have to. We've kind of invested in this. You guys have chatted with me about it, asked questions about it. A lot of questions on the what do you call it? The Geeky Geezers about this. So let's look at this. This, of course, comes to us from that Park Place. And as always, the articles I bring up are listed in the description below. I want to give attribution to the fine work that these folks over there, like Marvin Montanaro, are doing. Even though he won't take my calls anymore, he's one of those that has gotten too big for us. But he definitely has earned that right because he is such a good writer. So let's go ahead and get into this. The race for Warner Brothers is officially entering its next and most chaotic phase. See, I thought like this week was like the cutoff point and that we would have an answer on what was going on. I don't think that's the case. We're gonna look at it right here. According to multiple industry outlets, Warner Brothers Discovery has now told potential buyers to submit a second round of bids by Monday, signaling that the first offers weren't big enough and the studio wants stronger offers before narrowing the field. Sounds greedy. Are you really worth it, Warner Brothers? The opening round of bid in the Warner Brothers sale reportedly fell short of Zaslav's goal of $30 per share, a $70 billion valuation. Is Warner Brothers worth $70 billion in this market? I don't know. This isn't my area of expertise. I'd love to see what Valiant Renegade is saying about this, and what Mexican Iron Man is saying about this. But we'll read on. Industry watchers have claimed that he's unlikely to get that amount. There you go. But this second round of Warner Brothers bid signals he's determined to at least get as close as possible. I understand. Is there anything to lose by going into a second round? He can always take the first bid, right? I think that's how it works. Sources confirmed by Bloomberg, Deadline, and Variety all paint the same picture. This process is accelerating. The studio wants clearer front runners as soon as possible. Variety, I hope it's accelerating because it seems to be dragging on, in my opinion. Variety even referenced Paramount Skydance CEO David Ellison's insistence that the entire sale is a confidential process, which lines up perfectly with the tight-lipped approach taken by all parties involved. The outlet emphasizes that the bidders aren't able to publicly clarify or correct the growing rumors because of the strict confidentiality agreements governing the sales. I haven't seen any dollar values, so that would, I think, fall in line with what I'm reading here. At the moment, there are 3 primary contenders, each with very different intentions for the legendary studios. We'll get to that a little bit more in the second article. So, Paramount Skydance, Ellison's team wants the entire company, including cable networks like CNN. Personally, I would prefer to see all of Warner Brothers staying together. I say that as a fan. Those of you that are fans of their DC, whether it's the movies, the comics, cartoons, whatever, you don't want to see these different branches getting broken up, because I guarantee you, somewhere along the way, you're going to see divisions in DC Comics. Can you imagine if there was a division between Warner Brothers television holdings and film holdings? Then you could have, all kinds of rights-related issues that divide up the proverbial baby. You could have Superman looking like this on TV, and this on movies, and this in cartoons, but you couldn't use these villains because those were owned by the movie company and not by the... We've seen it before. I don't want to see it happen again. This gives Paramount a key advantage. They're willing to take on the part of Warner Brothers Discovery that other bidders don't necessarily want, and in an acquisition, this massive, being the only one willing to buy the whole package can earn you serious points. I was just thinking that. Before I read that sentence, I was thinking exactly the same thing. That, to me, says that Paramount is the front runner. This next one is the one I don't want to see, and I'll explain why in the second half. Netflix only wants the Warner Brothers films and TV studio along with HBO. But Troy, you say, that will keep the TV and the movies together. Well, Sandman McGee, that is, I'm sorry, Strawman McGee. I didn't mean to mislabel you. What about the comics? Does that fall under the movies? Does that fall under the TV? That is a print product. Kind of, sort of. Where does that IP fall down as far as Netflix goes? This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is how you split the proverbial baby. The streaming giant is not interested in linear cable networks. Given Netflix's long-standing reputation of dumping its original films directly onto streaming theatrical runs, hitting just the bare minimum for awards consideration, theater owners are sweating bullets about what a Netflix owner, Warner Brothers, might look like. I have even greater problems than that, but yes, I agree with that. The company has claimed it would keep Warner Brothers Discovery films in theaters, but there's a trust me bro statement until proven otherwise. James Cameron recently referred to Netflix's theatrical vow as sucker bait. We'll get into that a little bit more detail in the second half. And then there's Comcast. Like Netflix, Comcast wants a studio, but not the traditional cable channels. Merging NBC Universal with Warner Brothers would create one of the largest entertainment libraries ever assembled, something that would send antitrust regulators into cardiac arrest just thinking about it. And again, there's the proverbial baby being split again. I see a lot of companies going, I'm just interested in this. And then they get it, and then they realize that part of what they thought they were getting is tied up in what they passed on. And now they can't do it. I think that's what happened to Amazon with the rights that they bought for the Tolkien estate. They got this little portion, and they thought they were getting access to other stuff that they weren't getting. And that's along with all the other stuff that we've ripped on Rings of Power about, That's a big part of why it sucks so bad and looks nothing like an actual Tolkien related project. It looks like a ripoff, is what it looks like. Same thing would happen here. It's no secret that CNN is the world's most unwanted gift in this sale. Virtually no one wants it except reportedly Paramount Skydance. And I think Skydance understands what I'm saying too. I want the whole package. And then if I decide to mothball something, I still own the rights to it. You know, I understand that. It's like buying a junk car for parts. You know, you don't necessarily throw it out. I'm keeping it out in the backyard so I can grab the carburetor if I realize I need it. That alone could... See, that just shows how old I am, mentioning carburetors. That alone could boost Paramount's odds. If Netflix and Comcast won't take CNN and Paramount Skydance will, that's the kind of thing that simplifies negotiations dramatically. Rumors claim Paramount would attempt to bring the left-leaning news network more to the center and place it under the direct supervision of the Free Press founder Bari Weiss. The rumor mill is running full speed. Reports have floated everything from Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds trying to join the bidding. Remember when I said don't count on that? Zack Snyder potentially returning to DC if certain bidders win, perhaps the most exhausting rumor. A Rush Hour 4 distribution twist requested by President Trump himself. Yeah. Again, all of this has to remain rumor, and this is also why a lot of people have said don't believe any film announcements, or especially franchise announcements by Warner Brothers until we know what's going on with this. It's all hype. It's all fugazi until this sale goes through. While much of this talk falls into the industry chatter category, the uncertainty surrounding DC, already a lightning rod for fans, only adds more pressure to the sale. Whoever wins isn't buying a studio. They're buying one of the most historically significant film libraries on Earth. Again, as long as they don't split it up and think they got it all when they don't. Warner Brothers Discovery reportedly wants to wrap this up before Christmas, meaning the next few weeks could... I thought it was by Thanksgiving. I was wrong. It was Christmas. So, okay. This isn't as big a WTF. I'm just exhausted by this. I really am. Meaning the next few weeks could transform the entire entertainment landscape. Fans, theater owners, and analysts, investors, and yes, even James Gunn are all watching with anxious anticipation. When the dust settles and all bids are considered, one company will walk away with the keys to Warner Brothers, HBO, and a century of cinematic history. And judging by the speed of these Warner Brothers bids, we won't be waiting long to find out who wins. Throwing this out as speculation, this sale, the sales that are happening, right? There's been a previous Paramount deal. Now we got this Warner Brothers thing going on. Disney's got some stuff going on with their stuff. Could this be just because of the consolidation resulting from streaming wars that we predicted about almost 10 years ago? 5 years ago? Whatever it was. As long as Boomer and I have been reporting on things, which is probably about 3-4 years. But maybe it is 5 years now. Jeez. Anyway, may have been at this for a while. So, love to know what you guys are. You guys have already been talking about this. I'll get to your comments in just a second. I want to let you know what's coming up, especially tomorrow, and then we'll get back to this on the other side of these promos. Just give me about 3 minutes here.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together. This Thanksgiving, Troy and Netter are not taking the day off. If you don't have any other plans for the holiday, consider stopping by Last Call or Netter's Network. At noon Central, share a special Thanksgiving Thursday liquid lunch. Right after, it's the beloved classic, A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. At 2 p.m. Central, a pair of turkeys discover a time machine and decide to use it to travel to the first Thanksgiving to take turkeys off the menu forever in Freebirds. Ironically, we'll then take a bit of a break to get a plate of turkey or whatever you're serving and be back at 5 p.m. Central for Addams Family Values, followed by Son-in-Law at 7 p.m., and rounding out the night with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles at 9. Join us for Thanksgiving, and feel free to bring your family too. Let's be thankful together.
This week, on Last Call presents The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, a strange man on a bicycle follows a young music teacher as she bicycles on a lonely road to and from the city. Can Sherlock Holmes deduce why the woman is being stalked by the solitary cyclist? We'll find out. This week on The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Tuesday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, on Last Call presents.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, the world is beset by the appearance of monstrous creatures, but one of them may be the only one who can save humanity. Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe star in the 2014 relaunch of the kaiju classic Godzilla. This Saturday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netters Network.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Last Call with Troy Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it elsewhere, but Boomer and Pacelli spin it like only two old geezers can. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
Enigma Severus says, Troy, one of your best episodes was when your ADD kicked in after drinking and Outlaw Bill couldn't keep up with your subject changes. Best episode ever. I'm going to say I don't remember it, but then again, you said I was drinking, so that could have impacted that. CNN could easily transition into the biggest satirical news channel on TV. They already dabble in satire. They just need to publicly admit they have no evidence on what they share. Nothing changes. Heck, I would go full on weekly world news is what I would do if I was CNN. You know, start running Bat Boy articles and stuff. Bring all that stuff back again. Oh, jeez. Superman is the James Gunn mega blockbuster movie where he shows the world the definitive Superman is still Christopher Reeves. Yeah, right? I don't know why Warner Brothers won't return my calls on my $4.99 bid. Well, you may not be too far behind where some of these other ones are. Aged Boomer, my bad. Oh, not Outlaw Bill. It was Aged Boomer you were talking about. Okay, fair enough. Couldn't keep up with your ADD on the stream that one time, my bad. Oh, that's fine. That actually makes more sense. So now, I'm not going to say I'm more remembering it. That just sounds like an average Friday now, so. I think no matter who ends up buying the... And, one other thing I got to say. You'll notice that there's a lot of these Fridays where really Boomer is running the stream because he puts the topic together. So, you know, when I say he is my designated driver, that's kind of what I mean. But you're right. Sometimes I do go off script. That definitely happens. And the more I drink, the more off script I go. And remember, although I don't usually publicize it since the stream became monetized, I still have the buy me a drink link below. You can still buy me a drink directly, where those funds go directly into the booze fund and not into 1/3 of it going into the YouTube coffers. Just thought I'd mention it. I am outbidding you. I am offering $4.99 and a strip dance. Yeah. Put in the gift code, you don't want to see this in your OF, right? I think no matter who ends up buying the Warner Brothers, Gunn's gone, or he will be forced to take a reduced role as the head of DC and just work on the films. I understand where that logic comes from, but let me posit something else to you. I would say that's probably true for sure if the front runner, Paramount, ends up getting it. If it's the other two, I don't think they have a plan of their own, so they might have to default to letting Gunn continue doing what he's doing. Keep in mind, that's the big problem with these corporations. They don't have a plan. They usually stick with what they already have until, I don't know. They keep falling into the gambler's fallacy. We've put so much money into it, we got to keep doubling down on all these failures. I haven't watched it. I hear the best part of the film is the dog. Yeah, in a lot of ways it is. The dog is the most Superman-focused part of it. You've got so much Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific and all this other crap going on in a Superman movie. I digress. And Tired Midnight Blogger is excited for Gojira! Yes, exactly. I think Christopher Nolan has been one of the more I will handle my own movies type directors. Too many hands get into the decision making. So I think a lot of people feel like Christopher Nolan's Batman were the best, even if they're not perfect. And I am going to make the claim that somewhere in the middle is what's best, right? You need someone like Christopher Nolan who takes the reins and says, I'm doing this thing, and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. However, there does need to be some temperance when they say, look, we're not going to force you to squeeze extra characters into your movie, but this does need to be part of a shared universe. And your Batman may end up as a guest in a future movie we're doing. That's just the way it is, or go work for someone else. That's what I think should have happened. This way we wouldn't have, 15 different screen Batmans that are all from different universes, My favorite moment of the Stephen Colbert show was when the audience laughed at him for calling CNN unbiased. Yep. Yeah, see, that's the worst part about it, right? That is humor and parody when it's not even intentional. It's so unintentional. It's Poe's Law. They laugh at it thinking it's parody when he's being serious. Happy pre-Turkey Day, everybody. Welcome, the Horror Cat Dad. Good to see you. And I hope you and your family can stop in for at least part of the marathon tomorrow, wherever you are in your turkey quest. Colbert has been in a vacuum for so long, he really thinks CNN is unbiased, even though it has been disproven so many times, because they refuse to look at the proof. It's confirmation bias for them. They close their eyes and they plug their ears and go, CNN said it, it must be true, it's the absolute truth, they would not lie to us. I think Ben Affleck, surprisingly, wasn't the best Batman. He just had shitty scripts to work with and was never given his own movie. Yeah. And that's I blame all of it on Snyder. That is just horrible management, not understanding the characters, trying to push his own agendas. They weren't woke agendas, they were philosophical agendas that did not belong in Superman. You can call that woke if you want, but it's not what people, usually think of as woke. Oh, I fully agree with you in that regard. Nolan should allow his DC to be shared. I would love a movie with multiple DC characters guest appearing. I don't know what that looks like. Love the idea. I actually prefer the way it was done, in past years. Go back to the era of do you remember the original Flash TV series with John Wesley Shipp? There's a great scene where Barry is out walking his dog and they go past a cinema that's doing a double bill of Batman 89 and the Christopher Reeve Superman. And the dog barks and Barry looks and goes, God, haven't we had enough of that stuff? Or the line in, was it Batman Forever? I think it was Batman Forever, where he says to Dick Grayson, I'm sure that the circus is halfway to Metropolis by now. Just a word drop to let you know that it takes place in the greater universe. You don't actually have to have Superman and Batman in the same movie to know that they're in the same universe. Easter eggs, a big one was in the pilot episode of Smallville, where Lionel Luthor opens up a newspaper, and it says, the head of Queen Industries and his wife are missing at sea, or the Queen family missing at sea, or whatever, which sets up the origin for Green Arrow. Years later, there was another newspaper. Someone handed someone a newspaper, and the headline was Ambassador from Themyscira in Washington, D.C. today. I love that. That's all you need to do. I want to say hi to the Horror King. Good to see you, my friend. I decided I'm going to change my name to Trump because the supervisor here blames me for everything. And he has no proof. Let's see. Nolan would legitimately need to dedicate the next 20 years of his movie work to DC. If that is his position, he would rival Marvel single-handedly. Nolan is that good. I don't think he's that focused, though. I think he's really good at what he does, and he won't go outside of that. George Clooney Batman, when he says, this is why Superman works alone. Yeah. Nothing wrong with lines like that. I love that. That's good stuff. So let's, we got about 15 minutes. Let's get to this last one really quick. I'll try to get through it quickly. Share screen. So we alluded to this with the previous article. James Cameron says David Ellison is the best choice to buy Warner Brothers. Netflix would be a disaster. He's got his reasons. I've got mine. But I do agree with him on his overall conclusion. As the future of Warner Brothers hangs in the balance, filmmaker James Cameron has weighed in with unusually sharp clarity, and his comments leave no mystery about where he stands when it comes to Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Netflix. I'm going to suggest that if he feels this strongly, hey Cameron, if you feel you have a stake in this, maybe go buy some stock in Paramount and help them out. Maybe throw some cash in yourself. Just saying. In a new conversation with The Town's Matt Belloni, Cameron dismissed the idea of a Netflix acquisition outright, calling the streamer's approach to theatrical filmmaking fundamentally incompatible with the needs of a major studio. His remarks arrive at a time when Paramount's David Ellison is believed to be one of the leading bidders for the company. So going back to the previous article, this whole day and date thing, we're going to put it out in theaters just long enough to get an Emmy, or not an Emmy, an Oscar nod. Then we're going to put it onto Netflix because we want everyone to come to Netflix to watch our movies. It's going to kill the cinema. This whole streaming model is killing cinema. And it's also killing the movie industry in general. It's becoming less spectacle films and becoming more I don't need to see it content. It's just more slop. Let's just churn it out with AI. Who cares? Slap a name on it, put it out, and make more money. And they're spending as much money on them on their streaming service as they are to put them out in the theaters. They are literally leaving money on the table. They're not getting the money from a theatrical run. They are not getting the money from a licensing deal with network television. They are not getting, Netflix, and this is where my issue with Netflix comes into it. Netflix abhors physical media. So you won't get physical media. We're not getting a season 3 and season 4 in physical media form from Netflix. At least not an officially licensed one. Be that as it may. Used to be, you'd be double, triple, quadruple dipping. You'd make your money from the theaters. You'd break even at least, or pull your first profit from the theatrical release. Then you would put it out on cable. You'd receive your licensing fee, and you'd run it on cable as long as they wanted it. And then when that was done, you would put it out on DVD, and you would make your DVD sales and VHS and Blu-ray and all those kinds of things. That's triple dipping. And then now you move it to your streaming service where it is content kind of freely available to your regular subscribers. They're missing all of those revenue streams going directly to the dump. That's what I'm going to start calling putting stuff on streaming, the dump. In a new conversation with The Town's Matt Baloney, Cameron dismissed the idea. Oh, yeah, I already read that. His remarks arrive at a time when Paramount's David Ellison is believed to be the one leading the bidders for the company. Because Cameron's comments touch both on Warner Brothers' future and long-standing industry tensions over streaming, the remarks have quickly drawn attention from the industry insiders, especially his blunt assessment of Netflix's theatrical model. And throughout his discussion, Cameron directly and indirectly claimed that the theatrical experience should remain central to the future of a legacy studio like Warner Brothers. Cameron didn't mince words regarding Netflix gaining control of Warner Brothers. Netflix would be a disaster, he said. Sorry, Ted, but geez. Sandros has gone on record saying theatrical films are dead. Theatrical is dead, quote unquote. Cameron went further, criticizing the streamer's well-known strategy of placing films in theaters for only a week or so in order to gain Oscar eligibility, a practice many in Hollywood have long viewed as a workaround rather than a genuine theatrical commitment. When Baloney pointed out that Netflix has stated it will still release Warner Brothers films in theaters if they manage to snag the studio, Cameron dismissed the claim outright. It's sucker bait, he said. We'll put the movie out for a week or 10 days. We'll qualify for Oscar consideration. See, I think that's fundamentally rotten to the core. A movie should be made as a movie for theatrical, and the Academy Awards means nothing to me if they don't mean theatrical. I think they've been co-opted, and I think it's horrific. He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. There's probably a lot of things I would disagree with him on. This ain't one. He argued that if the streamer truly wanted to compete at the Oscars, its films would require real box office exposure. They should be allowed to compete if they put the movie out for a meaningful release in 2,000 theaters for a month. Look, it's the competitive mindset. If you want to be a successful business, you need to have a competitive mindset. And a competitive mindset is one that means I must win always. Always be closing, right? I need to be the best this, the best that, the best everything that I can possibly be. Okay? So when I put it out in theaters and I win my Oscar for this movie, I also want to be able to say, and it was also a huge commercial hit. It beat out every other movie this year. But you can't say that if it's only in the theaters for a week. Hey, won my Oscar, and then it went straight to the dump. Well, congratulations. You know, you got a bunch of stuffed shirts that think it was all that, probably because you paid them to like it. That happens, folks. Yeah, they should be allowed to compete if they put the movie out in a meaningful release in 2,000 theaters for a month. When the conversation turned to David Ellison, the head of Skydance and one of the leading contenders for the Warner Brothers sales process, Cameron had nothing but praise. The two previously collaborated on Terminator Dark Fate, which was a flop. But of course, I blame Cameron for that. A partnership Cameron has spoken highly of in past interviews. When asked about Ellison's Paramount, and again, that goes back to our conversation in the chat here about, the creator versus the studio dynamic and who's in control of things. I think he's the best possible choice. Cameron's perspective aligns with the general view across Hollywood that Warner Brothers, a studio built on theatrical tentpoles and generational franchises, requires stable, cinema-centered leadership moving forward. Few directors have had more impact on, and I will say this too, and I mentioned this in my talk on Monday about Netflix's Wednesday. The big problem is even when you have something good, because you have it on this proprietary format, the vast viewing majority are not seeing it until sometimes years later. They eventually get around to it. So you lack all of the natural synergy from word of mouth that you only get if it's a network release, where everybody can see it, a theatrical release where everyone can see it, because you get immediate word of mouth. Hey, did you see this new movie from Netflix, at theaters? Oh, I didn't see it this week. I'll go see it next week. Oh, it's gone. Few directors have had more impact on theatrical exhibition than James Cameron. Titanic and Avatar remain two of the highest-grossing films in history, and Cameron's technique and innovations have pushed cinemas to adopt new formats, technologies, and exhibition standards. I don't care for Titanic and Avatar myself, but this statement is 100% true. You cannot argue it. It's absolutely true. So, yeah. Blue natives. His criticism of Netflix echoes a debate that has been ongoing for nearly a decade. Should films intend to compete for Hollywood's biggest awards also maintain a meaningful presence in theaters? Netflix famously fought the Academy on this issue before adjusting its strategy, though critics, Cameron included, argue the streamer still prioritizes its platform above any meaningful theatrical footprint. Warner Brothers Entertainment... As Warner Brothers entertains political buyers, Cameron's blunt perspective reinforces a broader industry sentiment. Whoever takes over the storied studio will need to keep cinemas at the core of its strategy. And in Cameron's view, David Ellison is the one equipped and willing to do exactly that. From the three that we looked at before the break, it's the only one that seems to even be considering that strategy. Let me back up to what you guys are saying. That's interesting that Netflix hates physical media, considering that they began as physical media. Netflix and Redbox were the biggest things for all of 5 to 8 years. Yeah, and see... that could also be part of why they feel that way. They're like, you know what? This isn't going anywhere. Streaming is much more cost effective, so let's go to that. Forgetting that they could do both. Again, you could double dip. And they chose not to do that. That's where they're falling short. To be fair, theaters have been digging their own graves by making things more bells and whistles. I miss the old school theaters. I don't get the same feeling growing up with these shiny new theaters. It's survival. That's like blaming somebody who's drowning for gulping at air. It's very unattractive. I don't like seeing you breathing like that. You should moderate your breathing. I'm drowning here. I got to do whatever I can to survive. You know? I agree with you about the aesthetics, but they don't have a choice. They're grasping at straws. The other one that I think is a much better one, showing films that are not new, you know, showing old films. And ironically, some of these old films are doing better on a re-release in theaters than the current films that are out. And many people discuss getting physical copies because the films could be taken away at any time because the streaming service always decides what gets distributed. Not a good thing. Yeah, and it could be out for 10 years and then someone says, the word, you know, the benign word suddenly now means something really, really bad and is offensive to people. So now we got to change it. I'm sick of it. Really, really sick of it. Oh, that's now considered to be a problematic subject. The idea of people going to church, marrying someone of the opposite gender and having children. That's offensive. We can't have that. This movie now, it was written in a different time and, you know, some people may consider it offensive. Blah, 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 blah. Welcome, Monkey Jeebus. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Is that icon like a werewolf thing? I don't know. I kind of like that. I'm in panic mode. Move out on Saturday. You have to move out of your place on Saturday? Is that what you're saying, Monkey Jeebus? I agree with you on the theaters. Thankfully, I live where we still get some of the relaxed places and we can enjoy the experience. Yeah, I know what you mean. Holy cow, I think this is really spot on. Has he quit the hard drugs? Who are we talking about? Coffee is for closers. Yes, exactly. Troy channeling his Michael Jordan mentality. I must win always. Yeah, right. I thought you were going to say, stop it. Get some help. Let's see. Glenn Ross. Yeah. An amazing film. We did do a watch party of that on Netters Network. Dark Fate? What's that? Exactly. Cameron saying intelligent things. It must be an alternate universe. It happens. Look, you know, the past year, 2 years, have seen such a huge shift. Like somebody tapped into the Matrix and changed the base code. Stealing this joke from a better creator, Trump announced that women sucking balls leads to children with autism. I like that. Yes. Yes. Trump said it, so do it to defy him. I offer myself. I don't like the second Avatar movie simply because the movie stops what is doing for an hour to spend time with the kids. If that whole hour wasn't in the movie, it would have been a lot better. Okay, I didn't see the second movie, so I'll take your word for it. Honestly, I like James Cameron when it comes to deep sea diving and the Mariana Trench. I have to pick and choose his movies, though. Some are big fails. Understood. I mean, Netflix has just got that on YouTube model. They want you to be constantly on their platform. Yeah, exactly. Here's a what the fuck that's off topic. Jared Leto's accused of being a very weird guy. I watched one of 30 Seconds to Mars music videos yesterday, and there's a scene with him. I want to see you in a price like pause and text flash on the screen. saying this is a cult. Yeah, he's a weird bird. He really is. 20 years ago, I could also go to the cinema to watch a movie and get a large popcorn and drink for less than €20. It now costs me nearly €22 for the same thing. Yeah, there's inflation there. There's again, cinemas just struggling to make ends meet. Yeah, I'm moving to Redondo Beach, but I'm on a deadline. Yeah, I know how that can be. It's a Shiba Inu exposed to cosmic rays. I like that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, moving is stressful. I know. Trust me. My problem with Netflix wasn't no physical media. It was shows like Cuties. There's that too. These are not mutually exclusive problems to have. Well, that's not news. Leto revealed his weirdness when he did the Joker and began doing weird stuff to the co-stars. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Anyway, the idea of a celebrity being a weirdo, shocking, right? Anyway, I've gone over, and I'm sorry that I've kept you. Tell your boss it was my fault. I'm sure that'll buy you some time. Anyway, tonight, pop culture breakdown on Overlord DVD's channel. I will be a member of the panel again, and of course tomorrow, Thursday, after Liquid Lunch, or kicking off with Liquid Lunch, we're going to have a marathon of Thanksgiving films that I hope you can join us for. Bring the family, put it up on the big screen. We'll put the Cosme part of it up on the big screen for the family to watch and enjoy. And guys, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me, sharing your Liquid Lunch with me. You guys really do make this happen. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this out, get as many eyes in here as possible so we can get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I would be so thankful if we could do that. And guys, you take care. Be healthy. I'll see you on the next one. Drink responsibly. Doesn't have to be an adult beverage, but stay hydrated. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.